Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. We're waiting on our guest to pop on here in a moment. We might have a little bit of a backup guest, so I'm not sure. This will probably be better, and you can hear me much, much better. So we're waiting for our guest to jump on, but we got a backup guest who's going to jump on here. I just was talking to James. So hopefully James will jump on. We'll talk to him about a little bit about the music business, what's going on in his world, what's new, and see what's happening for just about everyone. But while we're waiting on him to see if he's got time to jump on here, as always, folks, we got to talk about the people who pay the bills around this place. And we're going to start with the big board over my shoulder. That is, if you've got something that you're supporting, something you believe in, whether it be a band, a podcast, I don't care what it is, whatever it happens to be you got going on, you can reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, you name it. We'll talk about it. You reach out to me, even our website, it's the Above the Bar podcast.com, and our email, the above the bar podcast at gmail.com. You reach out to me, let me know what you got going on. I'll read about you live here on the air so everybody can know what you have happening. So make sure you reach out to us for a sticker and a cause. Also, we got to talk about the folks that pay the bills around here, people. That is Budget Blinds of East Greenbush and Budget Blinds of Hudson, Cooksaki, and Schoharie. North America's largest custom window treatment company. They're doing everything from window tinting, shades, shutters, you name it. They take care of it. Any type of window treatment you can think of. And they're going to take care of it. They come to your home. It's a free in-home consultation. They measure everything out. It's even all the way to the point of professional installation that comes with the service. They show you how everything's going to work. And adding to it, folks, all their window treatments come with at least a 5-year, no questions asked guarantee. They even have a manufacturer that's going to offer you a lifetime, one-time, no questions asked replacement. I don't care what happened to the shade, when it happened. Talking with those folks, they had a shade recently from 2007 where a customer shade was damaged by a maintenance guy in their house. They took care of the shade, got it replaced. They got 2 other shades that weren't even damaged replaced because, hey, look, we can't match these things. So we're going to get them all replaced. Got it all taken care of for the customer. If this would have been a brand new replacement, would have cost the customer about $6,000 in window treatments. They were able to get it taken care of for them and only cost them about $225. So make sure you're reaching out to your local Budget Blinds. And if you're in the capital region, and you reach out to them and you tell them you're there to belly up to the bar, they're going to give you an additional 5% off your entire order. And this month, they're doing 20% off of all their window treatments. So that's an opportunity for 25% off your entire order. So make sure you're reaching out to Budget Blinds of East Greenbush and Budget Blinds of Hudson and Cooksaki, New York. So as we're waiting on James to come on, and hopefully maybe our other guests will get a chance and he'll pop up here. Not sure what's going on, but hopefully he'll pop up and give us a little bit here, but we'll give him a plug right now. So Eric Thompson was scheduled to come on here. Eric is, let me go ahead and grab his bio up real quick and we'll read about him so folks can take a chance and follow him and see what he's got going on. So Eric is a certified national gang expert, what's known as a healing center engagement practitioner and urban youth specialist. He actually has dedicated his entire life to working with high-risk youth. He was born down in Brooklyn, moved up to the capital region here in Albany. One of the things that's impressive about him is, and if he gets a chance and he can pop on here, is he's known for his street-level operations. He actually works with the kids at that level, coming to where they are, understanding the lives they grew up in, understanding what he's working with, and addressing some of the root causes of gang violence around the area. Not sure what happened to him, but hopefully he'll get a chance and he'll be able to pop back on with us. He used to be the 518 SNUG, 518 SNUG, which is gun spelled backwards. One of their leaders over there, but hopefully he gets a chance to pop on. But if he doesn't, that's okay because popping on with us, he's getting wow. This is pretty good for James. He's going to get like 2 appearances like within a 90-day period. So joining us,
I don't mind it.
are you in New Jersey? Is it New Jersey? Where are you at? I was
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Look, so he's in like the suburbs of New York City. It's known as the state of Connecticut. That's what I mean, let's be honest. It's like Connecticut is the suburbs of New York City. So he's going to be joining us. We were just over on in or TikTok and talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is music. I love music. James has been. I'm gonna let James talk his bio through here in a moment, but he's been. I think he actually originally uh, did the score for like he helped Beethoven write his music. I think that's what it was. He's been involved in music for so long. But James is going to give us a little bit of his bio. We're going to talk a little bit about how the music world has changed and gone from where we were uh, several years ago, where it was like, hey, music was what it was. You had to buy that CD or pick up that music to see what was going on. To today, where everything's streaming. So everybody, welcome. James and I always butcher your last name, so I'm not going to butcher it this time. Let's see if I can butcher it. Norkowicz. Did I do
Perfect.
it? Norkowicz.
Perfect.
See, look
Perfect,
at that.
baby.
Woo! All right. Thank you, Mr. James, for coming on. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Yourself?
Stupendous as always, and the fact that you're willing to jump on here last minute at after just spending a couple of minutes with me over on the other side is greatly appreciated as
I
always, brother.
I appreciate it, man, because I've been thinking about what's upcoming. Just had a nationwide TV appearance on
Really?
on ULFN. It's more of a Christian station, but they're out of Brooklyn. And what was great about it was out of the 400 or 500 people that they've had, I've been there. I had the longest interview,
All
and
right.
they put it on YouTube. And right now, in the 4 or 5 days it's been on, it's almost at 5,000 views.
Dude, that's awesome. So what was that like? What was the interview and everything based on besides music, obviously?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like, who I am, what I do, and asking the history behind the albums and the things that you do, and so on and so forth. And it's called the AM show, so it gives you an introspective look on, you know, what do we do? Why do we do it? And, and also to, why, some of the titles, they asked some questions that I clearly was not prepared for.
Like what?
Well, it just happened to be there was one uh they pulled something out of Chat GPT, and I'm like, no, that's just not correct. But you got to go through it and you got to do it. I'm not saying BS. You just diverge over to the other side, you know, and diverge and divulge.
Roll with the punches, huh?
Yeah, man, it was like, um, I know I had a great time. If you just Google my name on YouTube, you'll see the interview. But it was really great because it was the first nationwide. I mean, you could say worldwide. I mean, everything we're doing is worldwide, right?
Absolutely. Well,
But to have people really do, you know, a morning program do such a cohesive background, and you really had to, you screw up, you look stupid, you know, and 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 I am one for not looking stupid. I make
fair enough.
stupid decisions, but I'm not going to act stupid.
Well, do you mind
No, but
if I play one of your songs? I still have your music. I keep it on here. I've mentioned it to other people in the past. Do you mind if I play one clip from one of your songs?
sure, I don't mind.
All right. So this is and the kind of I know it's kind of throwing it at you here. So this is when you did your version of Hallelujah. give everybody a little bit of background of like because you had an Italian. She was Italian, right?
No,
Oh no,
she
she was
was
Irish. Irish.
Irish, Welsh, Irish,
Okay.
and so my dad had passed in 2021, and basically, I had, it's not because I want to say because of my parent, your family comes first, and then when you come out of that, you're latching onto something. And music is a great tool. It's a great key. It's what keeps you sane, and it's also I'm going through everything and digging everything out. Okay, so a week before I did anything, I joined Twitter. Now it's X, and then I decided, I see the crisis thing that's going on Ukraine. It's just when it just started. And I figured, let me do a video because I have a background in film scoring. So I did a video, and then I was going to be smart and I was going to try to do a really fancy, cinematic score to this. Sean, that didn't happen. What total fail. However, with the greatest mistakes, what ended up happening was I'm sitting there and I'm going, da dun 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 dun. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I started playing again. Now it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. Now let me put an arrangement. 2 takes, put it on there, posted it on Twitter. Maybe about 8 hours later, a woman by the name of Ellen Williams, who is the classical crossover, the number one selling artist on iTunes, Apple Music, said, "Can I put my voice?" And I'm like, yeah. I never
You
cried
must.
to, I've never gotten very emotional to anything. When I heard that voice with that video, it just like something hit, and the rest is history.
Well, let's play a little bit of that history. I love the video that goes with it. So here we go, James.
Now I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the bar.
Absolutely amazing, and her voice is so haunting the way she approaches the entire thing. I love every bit of it. So, and people can find that where if somebody wanted to download that, I know I found it on YouTube. Where else can people find that song?
Oh, you can find that, I mean, wherever you get your music, Spotify, iTunes, if iTunes is still a thing, Apple Music, Deezer, Amazon Music. If you have an Amazon Prime subscription, and you've got an Alexa, it's actually really cool because I never thought in my lifetime I'd be like, Alexa, play me.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
You
And
know?
but you know what? That kind of feeds into what we were talking about over on TikTok is how we get our music today. Like Ken, my best friend Ken was on, and he was talking about the days of let me set up a tape recorder in front of the radio so I can tape the song as it's coming out of the speaker. There was music drop days and stuff like that. As somebody who's been in this industry for 30 years and watched the progression of music, who's had the big conversations, what are some of the things that you've seen where you're like, we'll start with this. What's something that you used to do in the past that's disappeared that you hope comes back?
Wow. Well, like in the studio setting, everything's digital now. Back then they had a Neve board, which was, it's probably about $1.5 million board. And you need a team of about 50 people to actually bring the board into the studio. And everything was recorded on tape. Now everything's recorded to a digital cloud with Pro Tools. And I mean, the technology, listen, what I have in this computer right now and what I have downstairs will absolutely blow your mind. But it's nice. I don't know if you can see the keyboards back over here and over here. Matter of fact, you know, you used to be able to plug your keyboard, okay, into, this is a great example, plug your keyboard into a standard mixing board. And then that dumped into wherever you were going to record your stuff and dump it out there. Now you have one of these little
I got one of
doohickeys.
those. I got one of those somewhere here.
I think I've got about 4 of them.
And for those of you that aren't watching the live, it's nothing more than it's probably here. We'll give you a behind the scenes for a minute, folks. It's probably similar to this.
Nice.
So this is what I operate my podcast off of, it's from a company called Zoom Audio, which is not Zoom like you're doing a Zoom meeting, and it's called a PodTrack 8, and I can run 8 separate inputs on this six live in person, and
Mic
then
inputs, the whole 9 yards.
one person here and then one person off of a phone, so I can run 8 different inputs off of this. So you like that more, little bit, I mean, not fully analog, but a little bit more analog feel to it.
I do, and so down in my studio, in the studio down right underneath this room, I've got a 48 track Behringer.
Now, what is
So
that?
I can, it's a board about half the size of this room, and I've got 48 tracks, and I can take each individual mic, each individual instrument. It's what you have on steroids.
Okay.
I mean, major steroids. It's a production board, but basically it's made for, you know, taking and editing, and then you can, if you record something, you record strings, you don't like the strings, you can mute that and then record it on another track and do this. I like the fact that you can go on software and have an infinite amount of tracks and infinite this and infinite that, but man, it just sometimes you want to do it the old-fashioned way, you know, and it's
There's nothing wrong with the old-fashioned way sometimes. Look,
no,
like people got really into French press coffee. You know what I mean? That's not a Keurig. That's not any of those things. You know, you can say what you want about all these different things, but people really get into French press coffee, and as far as they're concerned, they're like, this is a better way of doing it.
you know the crazy thing is that is with the tools, and now everything is integrated with AI. And man, I mean, you can take a bridge over troubled water and make it with a female lead. And I mean, I'm not giving away any secrets to anybody, but if you want to do that kind of stuff, I mean, you know, it's crazy because people are putting things out that are remixes and bypassing like the copyrights and this and that. And it's like,
yeah.
you know, can anybody think anymore?
Well, that's a great. You know what? You bring up a great point right there, though. I know right now, and I'll even do it real quick. I don't know who all's watching us live, but it's you and I. Give me a topic.
Give you a topic.
Just anything. This is what's really you're going to find really amazing here in a moment. I don't care what it is.
Runway models and acting.
All right. In what style?
In
how about surf music?
Oh,
surf music.
In surf music, and in the style of jazz. No. I'm sorry. You just said surf
The
music.
style of surf music, in what key?
E flat.
See, this is when you talk about all this stuff. Uh, we just recently had uh, Kerwin on, and he's an expert in AI. Just kind of making a left turn here in the music. I just wrote one. I said, write me a song about runway models and acting in the style of surf music in the key of E flat. I would love to send it to you because I have no idea how to play music. It gave me a title: Catwalk and Cameras, E flat major, tempo 152 beats per minute, swing surf beat, style of surf rock. Sun's going down, lights are coming on. Backstage humming with a wild new song. Heels on the floor, hair in the breeze, walking that line like you're out on the seas. Script in your hands, spotlight in your eyes. Ride the waves of 100 sighs. Cameras rolling, they're calling your name. On the big screen or the boardwalk, it's all the same. Catwalk and cameras riding the tide. Models or movie stars, we're all along for the ride. Flashbulbs crashing like waves in the night. Surfs up, baby, and you're looking all right. And then it says double picked lead. I don't know what this means. Double picked lead over Rolling Toms, drip vibe guitar fills. I don't know what that means.
That's kind of like a white pop, like a
Okay. All right. Gotcha. And then it goes from
yeah.
Then it goes to from Malibu sands to Cannes red lights. You're a silver screen queen in the pale moonlight. Ride that longboard down the pier. Then it's hair, makeup, and a movie premiere. Catwalking cameras, ride it, ride the tide. Model or movie star, we're all along for the ride. Flashbulbs crashing like waves in the night. Surfs up, baby, you're looking all right. And then the outro says, "Surfs up, baby. Yeah, you're looking all right." That's crazy. Like, think about that for a second. Like, in your world,
Mm-hmm.
how long does it normally take you to write a song?
So after after October 29th is usually when I drop all the Christmas stuff, right?
Okay.
I start writing from October 29th to, October 29th. So literally in a year, and then you start revisiting old things and start
Right.
rehashing lyrics. And um I'm not gonna lie, I try to use AI to take some of my stuff, and it gets too cheesy and just but you can throw these into any online AI program. I
But how do
mean,
you feel about that? Like, somebody who, like, you've dedicated 30 years of your life to this craft. You've used your emotions. You talk about your father being involved in this, all those kind of things. And I'm some schlub who's lucky he can play the radio. And here I did. I just wrote a song. Kinda. Maybe.
okay, I've got two takes on this. I'm very unique when it comes to this. As a musician, like for example, in when we were playing at Socrates and playing, Don't Stop Believing, nothing's going to compare to that.
Right.
And if you want to write, we want to write an anthem like that, you've really got to get balls to the wall and really kind of boom. Um, However, music is going nowhere because everybody is doing this
Oh, off the phone. Yeah. Well, you only
off the
got to write
phone.
one song.
And
You only got to write one song nowadays.
oh yeah, all you need is one song, have it go viral, put the right content, and you can actually create people that don't exist singing the song in a video. Like it's it's crazy. And the coolest part about it, as someone who writes actual, on manuscript paper, and then puts the changes down, and then we're gonna do the whole directorial whatnot. The thing is that there are some things that in AI you could do a virtual sheet music. And so
Oh,
you're
really?
telling you what to do. But if you don't have the budget for background singers, bass players, and a drummer, but it's very labor intensive. And then you've got to edit it, and you've got to open the stems up. And if there's a crack, a hiss, a piss, or whatever it is, you basically have to, um, you have to know what you're doing. I've tried it. It doesn't, I mean, it's great for some small commercial stuff, but for for the kids and the teenagers and the 20 somethings who are trying to, maybe get their stuff out there, I'm not gonna nay it. You know what I mean? Because to some degree, if you're sitting down and you're writing lyrics and, you know, a lot of these things go on prompts, so you have to have an idea of what artist and what kind of style and what kind of feeling, and you've got to really tell it to make it do it. Um, I think it's a great learning tool, only for the fact that you could throw that back into Chat GPT and have it spit the sheet music.
It
Then,
just told me it could. It's crazy.
and then you learn the instrument, and it's like, I wrote this, now I'm playing it. And so I I still like the old school of writing, and
I don't blame you, but I'm just always like, it's funny you mentioned about the singing. So one of my sons is very into, and I think it's a generational thing, like where they get very into like Japanese culture, and a lot
oh
of like
yeah,
like younger generation right now is very into like Japanese and Korean culture and what they've got going on over there. And he like played some songs for me. He's like, "Dad, what do you think of this?" I'm like, "I guess it sounds all right. Nothing I would listen to. I mean, just not my style. But they have a good voice." He's like, "It's completely AI." I'm like, "What?" He explained it to me that basically it's a female singer, and there's an entire genre of this Japanese music that no, it's not a person actually singing. It's a tuned AI voice that they are putting out there and going, all right, sing these lyrics. What do you think of? I mean, to me, that's soulless. It's completely soulless at that point.
it's soulless, but probably the next 5 or 10 years, it's going to be the industry standard,
Real.
because think about it. I mean, you can get out more music. I mean, when you go, like, I hate to say her name, gives me the shivvies. When you go to like a Taylor Swift concert, right?
Okay.
And you're gonna, and to get good seats, and then to get the plane fare, let's say you got to see them in Cincinnati, Ohio, okay? And then you take two people. Now you're looking at like $2,000 to $3,000 for a ticket to get
Easily.
awesome seats. Not like nosebleed seats where you're freaking sitting with a screwdriver and fixing the rafters. I mean, it's kind of like, and then you've got more of a pyrotechnic light show, and she doesn't write her own music.
No, I don't think people realize that she ain't writing shit.
No, no, and that's the thing. There's somebody disclosed on an online article that actually someone who's writing for Taylor Swift is using AI, and it's charting.
It's
You
wild.
know, I
But
mean,
that's common though. Like that's been that's not new. Let's be honest about that though. Like
oh
somebody
no,
else writing music. Like I mentioned this to somebody not long ago. I don't know her name offhand, but the woman who used to be the lead singer of Concrete Blonde writes
yeah,
a ton of hip hop songs. Like she's like her and Pink. She writes a bunch of Pink stuff. Like she's Pink's writer. And she's been doing it for a long time. There's another one. It's a dude who writes for these girls, and he's a very like if you were to see him, you're like, I wouldn't let you watch my children. You've got that look, you've been banned from a schoolyard, haven't you? And he's got that look to him, but he writes like super big hit music for pop artists. But dude, I'm just so but it's funny, and the reason I asked about the AI singing is these guys in the music industry. I had a guest on, I can't think of his name right now, and we've had a couple of his artists on. He was telling me it takes something crazy, like I don't remember if it was 1,500 or 15,000 downloads of a song to equal what an artist used to make from the sale of one album.
Oh, okay. So I got this directly from a Sony rep. Okay. So if you were to listen to one of my songs, for example, you're going to get one song, you get a quarter of a penny. So four listens to, or
To
to
get a
that
penny.
track, you get a penny. Now they take 9 cents on the dollar. This is where things have definitely gotten screwed up. Now in 2023, I actually had, and I'm reissuing it, and when I say reissue, I redid the song. I didn't have the metadata correct, and what ended up happening, Sean, was it became it be ASCAP and BMI said, we know you wrote it, but someone claimed it as yours, as theirs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and this has happened twice to me. I'm being very nice. I will not mention the other woman, but yeah, I've been
You can
screwed over.
message it to me and I'll say it to I'll say their name. I don't give a shit. What are they gonna do to me? I'm in my basement of my house sitting at my own bar. What are you gonna do to me? But
Well, actually, I don't mind saying it. So this woman in the UK, um, I collaborated with her, and that was in 2022. And I have the proof. I have the raw deal, baby. And they ended up, her and someone else, building a whole thing around it, and released it this year.
wow,
And
that's dirty.
I and you know what it feels like in your stomach when you're like, it's like the bare bones of it, and the lyrics are mine, but they built a whole freaking production, and and they changed the name. It was called In a Life, not In a Lifetime, and they put Once in a Lifetime. So it's like, could you be any more creative and just change it to, like, I've got to take a dump. You know?
What is it? Vanilla Ice when they were like, "Hey, you just ripped off Queen and David Bowie, and with dun 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 dun." Dun. He's like, "No. Theirs goes dun 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 dun. Mine goes dun 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 dun." Dun. And they're like, "Save that shit, dude." Like that's basically what they did to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the thing was that when this was going to be the day it was going to be recorded. Now they had like 3 years to like smelt on this stuff. So can't go ahead and tell me that this was an epiphany overnight, that it was being marketed to Disney. It was being marketed to Coke. It was being marketed to like potential like $1 million where I can just sit back, pay my house off, and say,
Right.
you know,
It's finally your hard work's going to finally pay off.
yeah, yeah. And then what ended up happening, she showed me the studio. Now either she was totally blind to the whole thing, or this was planned.
Dun, dun,
And
dun, dun.
what ended up happening
You got to do it in the
is
right
that
voice, too, dude. And what
I
ended up happening was they came in, they grabbed my music, and as they left out, there was nothing I could do. You got to do it in the right voice, dude.
oh yeah, I mean, Sean, it was like, so her boyfriend, which he happened to work in radio, and he works here in the States and she lives over in the UK, and they have a show together. He says, I stole it. I'm like, stole it my ass.
He said you stole it, or like he was saying you.
Oh, yeah. What you have is a stolen idea, the stolen this. Look, you've got, okay. For all your listeners, you've got 12 notes. Chord changes are not monetizable. So C, D, E, F, G. If chord changes were monetizable, every song from the 50s in the doo-wop era, boop, 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 like one person would be suing the other person. Half of classic rock as we know it would be suing each other. So I just, I contacted a lawyer. He's like, well, for $4,000 we can have her take it down. I'm like, I just let it go.
Right.
If you need the money more than I do, I mean, I'm blessed with everything else that I've done. So, I mean, yeah, I could use the money. Don't
Right.
get me wrong. But if I was going to send you the name, I could put it in the chat, right?
Yeah, you can. You drop it right in the chat. I don't care. Like, I mean, listen, you're the one that's him. You've got the case. It's nothing. I'm not talking bad about them. I don't know who they are. Wonder if it's anybody I know. Sharon. No, I'm kidding. I don't know who that is. I've never heard that name a day in my life.
No.
Like,
And this person who supposedly worked for the played for the group Soul to Soul and
oh no, Soul. I remember them.
back to life, back to
reality. I'll sing anything. So let's see. Would she be like musician? Would she be like musician UK?
Yeah.
Let's see if she pops up. Okay, so she spells it with an A. Melissa Whitehouse, over a lifetime radio host. That's your song?
That's my song.
No, it was like the first thing that popped up. I don't know if it'll come through.
Yeah, because they're marketing the freaking hell out of it, and it's because it's a good song. Because the other three that she has, I mean, I'm not riding my own horse here, okay, or standing on my high horse. But something.
Wait a second. Can you hear it, or is it just in my headphones? Can you hear
just
it?
in yours?
Now, did you write the lyrics for this, or just the music?
Just the music.
Wow, that's dirty. Dude, it was like the first thing that popped up. If it makes you feel any better, do you want to put a comment? I think you stole this song. I've heard it before. It's only got 9 comments, 703 views in the last 4 months, and she's only got 816 subscribers. She's nobody. She's not doing anything with it.
No, and that's why I can do.
Squeeze.
No, there's an industry. I mean, I'm not going to give all the tricks away, but
give all the tricks away. People like the tricks.
It's just you got to have a big set of balls to do something like that. I mean, I have no problem doing a shared 50-50, or even 60-40,
right.
even 70-30. But don't go ahead and say that,
don't steal my shit.
Yeah. It's like, if you took the concept, but you left the piano in there, I mean, it's like it's kind of like playing Michael Jackson's "Beat It," and you say, "Oh no, it's not," but the bass line and the drums are the same exact thing,
Yeah. No, I get that. And look, folks, if you want to know what James has got going It's Norkowich, which is Norkawich. He's got music all over the place. He's done a bunch of stuff. I mean, real quick, promote yourself a little bit there, James. Like, who are some of the artists that you've played with over the years? And you're gonna have to say what bands, because you did this to me last time. You're like, I played with Joe Smith, and I'm like, I don't know Joe, and you're like, oh, you didn't realize he was the drummer for the Bee Gees, and I'm like, well, shit, I didn't realize that. So you got to tell people
Okay.
sometimes.
Well, I mean, when I first was starting out, I got on a northeastern tour with Spyro Gyra,
I know Spyro.
and most of those guys were either Connecticut or New York, and Dave Samuels, who's now passed away. I mean, he's a world famous vibraphonist. I mean, these guys were great. It was, playing New York State, playing your area, playing the city, playing all the way up through Maine down to Jersey. I think the farthest we went was North Carolina, down in Raleigh, and then doing a lot of wedding band stuff, and then it wasn't until I got into the studio. There's one song that I ended up co-writing with Tower of Power. And if you don't know who Tower of Power is,
That's a big band. Tower of Power is a big band.
Yeah. And then an impromptu gig in Connecticut with Chicago. That was exciting.
Dude, I would love to. I want to see Chicago. They're on my list of bands that I want to see. They just were here in the capital region.
Okay. So I love this. I love how the story was. So a professor I had in college said, I need a keyboardist and I need a drummer. I'm like, okay. And they're like, it's at this location. Half of their guys are on a plane, the other half the bus and the equipment, everybody broke down. So they're gonna be out for about a week. So they're setting up an impromptu concert, inviting people, charging, like it was just something that was just happened to be there, So be there, be square. It showed up, getting on the stage, meeting everybody. Nobody looked familiar, I'm looking like, okay. And then I'm like, it wasn't until I looked at the drum head and saw Chicago and went, oh shit.
Wait, how do you do that? How do you play like Chicago songs if they're not like, hey, this is what we're playing, from
You don't understand. Like I used to drive from the age of 16 to 21 every night on the weekend, and I've got Chicago's greatest hits in my car. Like I know this stuff like the back of my hand, and I got 6 keyboards in front of me, and there's the music. I'm like, oh, let's tear this up, baby.
So like Saturday in the Park, like obviously that's a huge song from Chicago. Like, how does that work out? Like, does somebody like all of a sudden you hear it and you're like, well, fuck, we're playing Saturday in the Park. I'm on this.
Well, all the sheet music is there, all the cues are there,
So
and then you hear
the music and everything. Okay.
Yeah, you hear that. But for me, I like the David Foster years, A Hard Habit to Break, you're the inspiration. I mean,
that's a great song.
And that stuff was just grooving I'm like, somebody pinch me because I'm having that aha moment. And
hey, look at this. I'm on the stage. I'm with Chicago. This is beautiful.
Oh, it's such a deal. You want me to
beautiful. Look at this. I'm gonna blare my velvet suit here. Will look nice. Hey. I'm just looking right now, and I didn't I grew up listening to Chicago, but I'm looking like Hard to Say I'm Sorry. You're the Inspiration. Saturday Night in the Park. Will You Still Love Me? If You Leave Me Now. Does Anybody Really Know? Feeling Stronger Every Day. Along Comes a Woman. Like Chicago's that music. Like at any point in time, if you really want to just get with your lady, play the Chicago tune. I don't care where you're from. Just play some Chicago tunes and you'll be good. Like
that's musical composition 101 right there. I mean, because, they had these guys, the sound people were phenomenal. They set this stuff up probably in 2 hours, and it was, I mean, you're just hearing the horns shaking. You're like, when they warmed up, I learned, I turned over to the drummer and I said, expletive, expletive, expletive. I'm like, and he's like, dude. I'm like, dude, dude, dude. You
I
know,
get it completely. Listen, folks, we're talking with James Nurkowicz. You can check out James on all types of social media platforms, LinkedIn. He's got a Instagram page. You can find his music on Pandora, all those places. But we got to pay the bills around here. And it's that New Scotland Spirits last call as we're getting ready to close the show up here in the next few minutes. This week, don't just drink whiskey. Drink something that means something. New Scotland Spirits is handcrafted right here in upstate New York using locally grown grains, old school methods, and zero shortcuts. Every bottle is a bold statement, full of flavor, full of pride. So whether you're sipping solo or raising a glass with friends, make it count. Visit NewScotlandSpirits.com to find a bottle near you. New Scotland Spirits, built on heritage, bottled for today. I think I could do voiceover. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, like, let's be honest.
yeah.
Like, listen, James, you're experienced in all the music world. You've heard a lot of voices. And I know I have a face for radio. What do you think? What do you think?
well,
Listen,
long ago and far away.
any voiceover opportunities that you think I could be doing instead of selling window treatments?
Oh, definitely.
What do you think?
I'd say if I were you, I'm just
Don't quit
saying,
my day
we
job.
could, no. We could have a nice partnership. You know, you go on voices.com. I know a little bit about radio production and ads and commercials, and you're like a long time ago in a
I did a
galaxy
website,
far, far away.
voices.com.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's so many voiceover, you know, AI can do voiceovers, but having that voiceover and having that production bed, very quickly, I worked in radio 25, 26 years, and I
okay.
worked on streamed and done the same kind of platform and yada 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 yada. If you go and look Rick Allen
I know Rick
Creative,
Allen. I know that name, Rick
you know
Allen.
Rick? Oh,
Why do
you
I know
do?
that name, Rick Allen? Why do I know Rick Allen?
Hot 97.
Yeah, yeah,
He's the
yeah, yeah.
one. You
Yep.
know, so I mean this guy used analog equipment back in the day when I worked at WQHT Hot 97 and Z100 and CD 101.9 just to name a few. Um, and that's my New York stations. Pennsylvania and Connecticut. But I mean Rick Allen, when you hear that, it's ha 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 ha. You know, I mean that's so iconic. And that thing is just so easy to do and replicate. So, using the right software and doing it, you could be, these radio stations, they hire out people to do production beds. If you're the guy doing the production bed, and you really in a contract with them, you're looking like $5,000 to $10,000 a month.
Really? I never would have
Yeah.
thought of that. I think a lot of people, I know we've made a left turn here away from music for a moment and into that radio and advertising world, which is a world that you understand. I think a lot of people today are like, oh, I wanted to get into voice acting. I wanted to get into that world because they're scared to stand like on a stage and do those kind of things because that's much harder to be an actor, when you've got to get into makeup and you got to do, stunts and all those kind of things. And they think, well, I got a pretty good voice. And guess what? Most of you folks, your voice sucks. We don't want to hear you. You really have to have a tone to it. And there's an inflection piece to it. Like how hard is it, especially for somebody who writes music, and has been in that world, how hard is it to get somebody to be like, to understand, like, hey, you've got to take it from this. Listen, right now, we've got this thing, but you got to act now. How hard is it to get people to understand that inflection piece?
You've gotta, I mean, I think the first thing is taking something and taking an idea and building a concept around it. Then once you build a concept around it, for example, if you're going to sell like walkers, it's not the most coolest thing, but like, but you can do something, having a tough time moving around, want to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time, like, and it's knowing how to take a play on words. It's knowing how to use your voice to act first. Now, you have compressors, you have preamps, you have a ton of equipment, like over to the left here in this room, like, to filter everything out. But it's, once you build that concept, and say, like for whiskey, are you thirsty for something different? Have a long day, and you just want to sit back and
Shall
relax
we?
with something that is smooth and silky, and
Hold on. Should I redo it? Should I try again? All right, let's
yeah,
try it again. Let's try it again here.
and
All
get
right,
down.
give
Make
me
sure
give me
you.
the tone. Give me the tone. Like should it be the this week? Don't just drink whiskey, or should it be this week? What are you thinking? We're
I
completely
like
left
the
turn,
lower.
folks.
Pretend you're in a dark cellar.
Okay,
You're
okay.
surrounded by like women who are dressed to the nines. They're supermodels,
What
and
were those
the men
commercials?
are,
The most interesting man in the world. So I got to go most interesting man style. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, pretty much.
If you ever get a chance, folks, and you want to make a fall down a rabbit hole, look up the guy from the commercials, the most interesting man in the world, and you find out like, yeah, that dude really was pretty interesting, not just based on the commercials, but the real shit he did in his life. All right, let me listen. You heard the first one. The first one, give me a listen, James. I need a real 1 to 10 on the first one. What are we calling the first one? Real. Don't
First
be
one
nice. It's my show.
for,
A 4. Okay, here we go. You
but
ready?
this time take time
All right, I'm
when
gonna
you
take my
speak.
time. We're gonna
Take
give it
inflection, character,
more.
emote.
All right, gotcha. This week, don't just drink whiskey. Drink something that means something. New Scotland Spirits is handcrafted right here in upstate New York using locally grown grain, old school methods, and zero shortcuts. Every bottle is a bold statement, full of flavor, full of pride. So whether you're sipping solo or raising a glass with friends, make it count. Visit New Scotland Spirits to find a bottle near you. New Scotland Spirits, built on heritage, bottled for today.
That's perfect.
Listen, like I'm pretty sexy. Listen, like I said, I got a face for radio. Now,
That's
listen
perfect.
again. Give me now. Now we had a 4 in the first one. What are we going with this one?
That's about a 9. That's about a 9.5. Throw
A
some
nine and a
music
half.
behind it. That,
Oh,
see,
you
because
could write the
because you
music. You should write the music. My friend owns New Scotland Spirit, so you should write the music, and we'll send it to you.
really.
Yeah, my buddy Jesse, he's been on the show like 3 or 4 times. We've done it live from his tasting room. Uh, Great dude. Unfortunately, he was an officer in the army, so I hold that against him completely as an enlisted Marine. I hold that completely against him. Uh, but yeah, we he owns New Scotland Spirits, which is right here in the capital region. Like sitting in front of my computer is a bottle of their rye. They have an amazing rye. If you like rye whiskey.
And it should have a little Scottish bagpipes in the background.
Oh, dude, that's actually a whole thing. Like completely left turn. Now that we've listen, folks, my guest didn't show up, so James and I will just talk about whatever the hell I feel like. So he was actually when they first opened their distillery and came up with the name, they were sued by the country of Scotland to change their name because Scotland was like, you can't make Scotch and call it New Scotland Scotch because they were making a whiskey. And went to courts and everything. And the judge basically said they had a different name, but it was like New Scotland something, and they changed it to New Scotland Spirits because they are from New Scotland, New York, which is where the whiskey is made and where the rye
Ah,
is made. It's in New Scotland, which is in the Helderberg Mountains. So they were like, the judge was kind of like, all right, happy medium ground here. You can't do this. You can do that. We'll be okay. But yeah, and but Jesse has been on here from when the first episode he ever did with me, he had just finished jumping out of a plane, and he had a partner at the time, another gentleman, he's not with him anymore, but he had a partner at the time, and he was like sitting in uniform at his desk, and he was like, all right, I'm going to do this show now. I just finished jumping out of the plane because he was a JAG officer with the 82nd or the 101st.
Really?
Yeah. And he's just slowly but surely, he's a lawyer here in the capital region. Doesn't do a ton of lawyer stuff anymore, but if you look him up on Instagram, you can also find him under New Scotland Spirits or Sheriff of Lark Street, which is a famous street here in the capital region with a lot of bars that used to be a great place to go and party, and now it's just a bunch of hot messes every night. Yeah, that's him. But yeah, that's my buddy. So like, if you want to take that, I'll send you the thing, and then you can put music.
Send me an email with and with your telephone number, because of course we're going to have this conversation offline, because
you would make Jesse's day. You would make Jesse's day.
I promise not to do anything from So I Married an Axe Murderer, like
I love that movie.
Let's get pissed.
Look at the size of its head. It's like Sputnik. That was
my God! Let's go to the weather system. I mean,
greatest line in that movie. Look at the size of his head. It's like Sputnik. Yeah, the Colonel. He puts addictive chemicals in it, so you crave a smart and 4 a.m. Love that movie, dude. I love that movie. We have completely made a left turn.
He's playing Rod Stewart. Don't you feel like my body? Don't you think I'm sexy? He's like.
Yep. Don't
it's
you sexy? I love that movie, dude. That's one of those movies that he did that Mike Myers did that people don't realize. Like, go back and watch So I Married an Axe Murderer. It's just that good of a movie, and it's absolutely hilarious. Oh yeah, I love that movie.
It doesn't take much to excite me, but I tell you, it's those things, and if I can get you to read, I can put something together, and if he's willing to put it on radio, I mean, I think it's a great advertisement.
Look, we'll take that ad. You and I can put it together, and I'll send it to Jesse. And I know him. First off, he'll be absolutely just beyond himself, but that like we just took the time to do it. And he'll be like, dude, you did that for me. Yeah, dude. Like it took me and James all of like 10 minutes to put the whole stupid thing together. And guess what, James? I have chat to my left, and I've been doing like I do a different ad every week, and I fiddle with my Chat GPT enough that I've got it to where it like knows my language.
Mm-hmm.
And it just speaks how I want it to, and it gives me a full blown ad, and it even tells me like, let me know if you'd like shorter version for Instagram Reels or versions that shout out a specific release or a store.
Because that's another thing about being a musician in this industry right now, is you've got to do all your social media unless you want to pay 20 to 30 grand a month, and like this is so. You're getting the grand whatever view, because this is where like the post production gets done. So I mean, I don't know if you can pan over here, but there's a board I bought off of England that every song that
you'd have to move your camera for me to see it.
Yeah, I've got an IMAX, so it's like,
yeah, that's not happening.
It's not happening. But downstairs is we'll probably do for November, because it'll be a little bit colder downstairs.
There you go. So we're getting ready. We got to close this all up. So any upcoming gigs, anywhere people can see you, anything coming up? You want to promote the person that's coming on in November?
Yeah. So very quickly. So 2 albums out. I'm doing one which is called the Norwich Family Christmas, and it's just the story of me growing up, to let people know kind of who I am and what I'm about, and with original music. So it's not like an audio book as much as it is just something entertaining. So you kind of see how the music connects to everything else, and then the main Christmas album will be out. It will be out the 29th too. So it's kind of like a double shot. And right now, the guys and I. So uh, the artist that I performed with, her name is Jackie DiMaggio. You have a relation to Joe DiMaggio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she sang with Peebo Bryson. She sang for the president twice, and she's all up and down. Let's see, like Pelham, Bronx, that portion of New York, which I
Never been up.
actually, I probably have been there, but haven't been there. I've been through your way more than, but and then trying to scope out some pop-up things because the weather's been so hot and a lot of places are kind of knuckle and buckling down, and so whoever they have booked, they're kind of keeping them for a longer stint. So you know you just go to my website, www.jamesanorbush.com, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. And literally, I was posting things on TikTok, and all of a sudden, I saw you, and I'm like, this is a great cheap, um, selfish promotional plug for November.
It worked out.
When everything will be out.
It worked out, and I just actually got a picture or a text from Eric. Folks, we're going to work on getting Eric back in. I hope his son heals up. He had an injury during football practice, so hopefully that works out for him, and we get him all back on. Now, don't log off on me afterwards, James. We got to talk for a minute, but as we do on every episode, the guest and I'm doing it in my best radio voice. As we always do, the guest always gets the final word. So, what's the final word for tonight, James?
The final word is, this year I turned 50.
I turn
I
50
hate to
next year.
admit,
I turn 50 next year. Shut up. Be realistic. I'm 50 next year.
he's still 49. Okay, no. But this year's been very good, and I hope to continue the streak of everything. I mean, in all due seriousness, this is the most I've ever released in 1 year. One was like an album called Keys to the Soul, another one called Just Getting Started, which is all songs that related to turning 50. And then there were some singles, and then working with Jackie DiMaggio, and then really amping things up. Is it's not 50 is not old, 40 is not old, but
Oh,
I'm just getting started in this Christmas album. Well, the official name is This Christmas Is Ours, and it's got a blend of everything. And if it's anything, oh yeah, and I very quickly, the latest release you'll find on Spotify. Just when you thought I didn't know how to do Spanish music, this is stuff that was like 20 years old. And someone has said, "Hey, do you want me to dump? Do you want this?" And I'm like, "No, no, let's put it out there." And man, oh man, I gotta admit, I mean, I wrote this stuff 20 years ago, and I like to think I've matured, but if that was 20 years ago, that wasn't bad. And it's called Passion and Rhythm, but of course it's in Spanish. So there's a lot of Spanglish stuff, and if you're having a nice fine whiskey or a nice fine glass of wine, you can sit with your significant other and put on this album and make sweet love, I guess.
Alrighty, folks. Be sure to put your stool in. This has been a Second Front podcast presentation found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found.